Hey, good morning, everybody. It is day 109 of spiritual health care. Welcome, 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 welcome. Day 109 is going to be pretty great. And I want to get to the topic that we didn't get to yesterday because yesterday we ended up on a bunch of other things and ran out of time. But today I want to talk about people who rely on fortune tellers and psychics and tarot cards and the people that are really addicted to them and why. So I'm really stoked about this. I'm looking forward to digging into this subject. I have so much to say about this stuff I can't wait to get into it. So good morning to everyone. Good morning everybody. Day 109, spiritual health care. It is a beautiful day here in Edmonton. Our heat wave has finally taken a 1-day hiatus. 1 day. So it won't last. I know it's going to heat right back up again. Good morning to Jay and Dan and Lucy. Nice to see you guys. Nice to see everybody. Today is going to be awesome. We are going to be talking about, as I say, the idea of people who are relying on fortune tellers and things like that to predict their world and why we tend to get so hung up in things like psychics and fortune tellers and mediums and all of that kind of thing. So this is going to be really good. And I can't wait to hear everybody's take and opinion on it. Because everybody usually has different experiences with this stuff. Good morning to Kaz and Connor. Hey, Connor. It is good to see everybody. And there's so much around this subject that I thought we had to bring it up. We talked a little bit yesterday about the idea of clarity and where clarity is so important in our experience with the paranormal, with our position, moving into the next phase of our lives and what we're doing going forward. And it's interesting how many people right now are leaning towards, instead of leaning inwards, they're leaning outwards. They're looking for that thing that's outside of them, and a lot of people are going to psychics and fortune tellers and horoscopes and things like that, trying to make sense of their world and stuff like that. So we're going to talk about all of that today. Good morning to Des. Nice to see you. It's awesome to see everyone. On a side note, the new Haunted magazine is available for pre-order on haunteddigitalmagazine.com, so you guys can get issue number 27. I've got a great big article in there about the Wendigo and Alberta and some personal experiences that myself and a friend have had over the last, I would say, almost 5 years, close to 5 years. And it's really cool. I go right back into the corridors of Alberta history. Some of these locations happened within 15-20 minutes of my house. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool article, but there's lots of people. My friend Dr. Kieran O'Keefe is on the cover, which is exciting because he's a great guy, really great guy, really smart, and really put his career on the line years ago for busting open the most haunted, I guess, I don't want to say scandal, but it was Most Haunted was kind of one of the first reality shows to come out as in terms of ghost shows, and there was a medium on Most Haunted named Erica Cora, and Dr. Kieran O'Keefe really put his career on the line to expose the fact that Most Haunted was set up. So he is on the cover, this and whatnot, and I couldn't be happier about that because he is brilliant parapsychologist. And my friend Richard Eastep, who you guys see on Most Haunted and Haunted Hospitals and Paranormal 911 with me, he's written a great article in there as well. So there's lots in there. So if you guys get a chance to order Haunted magazine this month, do it. It's really good. So I wanted to dig into this morning. Good morning to Sally and Debbie, as you guys are all piling in here. That's awesome. So I wanted to get into this today because I've been noticing that I've been getting emails and whatnot of people asking, where do I go for, mediumship or psychics or all of these different avenues. But their questions are very much centered around things like, knowing the future, predictions, seeing into the future, this kind of thing. And I thought this would be such a great topic to grab onto, because what I've noticed is that the reason why so many people are aiming down this road right now of looking for psychics to kind of predict what's going on is because we are living in what feels like a very unpredictable experience right now between COVID-19 and the governments and what's going on there, and like there's financial unpredictability. There's a whole bunch of different factors that are kind of weighing in, and people are turning towards whatever they can to try to get a bead on what it is that they're experiencing, and trying to get some predictability, because people like routine. They really like routine. So this is what I've noticed about all of this, and as I say, I've got so much to say on all of this. And good morning to Kristen. Nice to see you. I'm so glad that you are joining us on your first spiritual healthcare. That's so cool. So this is what I've noticed with things like clarity, okay, is that when you ask many of these people the question of I am, whatever we follow the phrase I am with, that I am is the creative force in the universe. Whatever we follow I am with, you will become. Right? So if we're saying, for example, I am confused, I am frightened, I am tired, I hear that one a lot, I'm so tired. Whatever we follow I am with really is the creative force in the universe. And we have to be able to start to watch our language when it comes to when it comes to this, because our clarity tends to get lost in our language. So I am confused, changing that into I am awaiting clarity. I'm awaiting clarity. That's what I'm just waiting. I'm expecting clarity. And be able to turn this inwards instead of going outwards and seeking the environment to right itself before we can get into alignment with what is going on and what our vision is. Another thing that I've really noticed is that people tend to, and have been, especially over the last little while, because as I say, people are waiting for their environment to change in order for clarity to show up, and it does not work like that. It does not work like that. It is the reverse. And people are tending to judge their clarity on how other people respond, which is the root of a lot of the fortune teller phenomenon right back from the beginning. Is that as soon as we start to judge our clarity on how other people respond to us, you are not only starting to give away your power, but you stop affirming the vision. You stop affirming the vision that you had for you, and you're waiting on the clarity of other people. And to know why we're doing it, and to know why we want what we want, to know why it is that we're pursuing what we're pursuing, is absolutely, it's really key right now. So that when those other people, when we are explaining things to other people, or we have to let them know about something going on in terms of things going on in our life. Maybe we're taking a new step to pursue a new job, or we're taking a new step to pursue our own clarity or our own passion. If we are sitting there and we are relying on people's responses and judgment, whether it be a fortune teller, whether it be a psychic, on the phone psychic, whether it be your family members, whether it be whatever's going on, if you've got those people and they're going to be critical about those things, and you're relying on their judgment and their response to you, that's going to fall flat. It's going to fall flat. You're going to stop. You're going to quit. It is really about every single day taking a step, and the how and the details will show up when you start to take the step. So here's a part where people get really backwards, and it's because people so rely on other individuals to tell them where they need to go, whether it be they're relying on circumstances to tell them where to go, or they're relying on other people, is that what most people miss is that sometimes the how is on a need to know basis. Sometimes the how and what it is not going to show up right away. We can't turn around and go to, say, for example, a fortune teller or something like that, and expect to get an answer about the clarity and the vision that you have. That's within you. And if we're waiting on the how, we might not ever see it. Sometimes it's the step taking, it's the moving forward, it's the step, like stepping into the reality that you're looking for, that ultimately is what makes the how show up. So some people will sit there and they will sit back and they will be waiting on the how, and it's like, okay, if I just wait long enough on the how, then I'll know what to do. But that's not how this goes. Is you have to be able to take those steps, and those steps bring the how to you. And the universe has this myriad of ways of bringing that how to you. It just does. And if, you know, there was a phrase that I heard a number of years ago, and I thought this was so true. I thought this was so true. That if you don't love what you're doing, if you don't have something in your experience that you absolutely love doing, like you have to get out of bed to do this thing, run for your life. Whatever you do, if you don't have that thing, you got to run for your life. And I thought that was just it was so brilliant. Because it is the driving force and what makes this universe move and step forward. So clarifying what it is, having this clarity in what it is you're doing and the steps you need to take every single day, is so crucial, because it's what ends up creating the momentum to open the doors that you're looking for. You know, we have to begin to understand everybody's playing a bit of a game. Everyone is playing a bit of a game. And a lot of people sort of go through our experience by default. We don't actually understand the game that we're playing, you know? And sometimes the game that we're playing is, I get up, I brush my teeth, I go to work, I hate my job, I come home, I'm tired, I go to bed, I get up, hate my job, you know, so on and so on and so forth. That could be the game you're playing, right? And often, you know, people, again, you know, they're going to these outside sources looking for these, you know, answers or explanations for why they're doing this thing. And so we have to begin to look at what's not working. We have to begin to realize that if we're saying, oh my God, I'm so sick and tired of this, or I'm sick of this, or I don't want to do this, we're also turning around and saying, we can't handle the next blessing or promotion that's coming in the door. So let me get into this a little bit, because I think this is super crucial and important. Usually when people are going into the realm of fortune telling or psychics or something like that, they're picking up the phone, they're expecting an answer. They're expecting a deep explanation of why they're doing what they're doing, and that the love of their life is coming, or, you know, the job of their dreams is coming, or whatever. They're looking for that. But here's the thing, is that when we have not mastered where we are, if we have not figured out with what we have, what we can do with it, we won't get the next thing that's coming down the pipe that the universe has set up for us. Because the way the universe looks at this stuff is that if they see you being lazy on what you have, then you're gonna be lazy if you get the next thing. You're gonna get the promotion, or you're gonna get the dream, or you're gonna get the money, or you're gonna get whatever. And it's gonna look at you and just go, that person's not gonna be able to handle it. They're not going to be able to handle it, because ultimately, if they're being lazy with this, they're going to be lazy with this next thing. Or if they're sitting around doing nothing now, then they're going to sit around doing nothing on the next blessing. So I can't give them the next thing. And it's a real catch-22, because sometimes it can be really, really hard to look at where we are and to start to see the value and the blessing, or the importance of where we are right now. This is all a process. And people tend to want the promotion without the process. They want the next thing without the process. And it just does not work. It just doesn't work. Usually when you can see this scenario the most is when people, and usually the reason why this plays out the way it plays out is that when people have no self-esteem, they want crowd esteem, right? So they want that crowd esteem. And then they think that if they're in a different place, if they've got a different job, if they've got a different way of looking at the world, if they can if they can move into the new arena, then they're going to get the crowd esteem, which is going to fix the self-esteem, and then they'll feel better, and then they'll change their behavior. And it's just backwards. It's not how it works. You have to have the self-esteem in order to get the rest going, and everything else becomes a bonus. It just becomes a bonus after that. So we have to understand that we find the greatness ultimately when we maximize the minimum stuff. We really do. We have to understand that. And what we do with greatness, if we haven't mastered the smallness, if we haven't mastered the small stuff and the place where we are, it won't be any different. It just won't. Sometimes the reason that we're not getting what we want is because we're neglecting what we've got. If we're sitting in avoidance, or we're sitting in, if we're taking a back seat on our experience, not only do we start to become irrelevant and useless to the industries and the world that we're in, but we start to become very replaceable. And if you're not motivated now, believe me, you will not be motivated when you get the next thing. You won't. You got to fix that. You got to fix that first. So sometimes the reason we're not getting that next blessing is because we're just not attending our own rehearsal. We're not attending our own practice. I'm going to use this example because my family has been in production for decades. And I've been a performer for decades, and fire performer and all of that kind of thing. I was doing street shows, when I was 15 years old. And, I would say my family's in production. My partner has been an actor for decades. And I can 100% tell you that if you're not attending the practice, if you're not attending the rehearsal where nobody's clapping for you, when there's no feedback, there's no crowd esteem, right, coming back, you will not be picked for the recital. You won't. You will not be ready for it. And the reason that sometimes we feel stuck in our experience is because we're just not attending the damn rehearsal. And if we don't do that, if we don't show up every day, like I will be in the garage for 3, 4, 5 hours at a go, running through fire tricks over and over and over and over and over again. And there's nobody else there. There's nobody else clapping. There's nobody, none of that's happening. And I will go and I will drill a trick for 3 or 4 hours until I nail it, until I get it right. And because of that, the right people come along and then they point you out. Here's the funny thing is that people get picked when they're actually doing a thing. Have you ever noticed that? People get picked when they're doing a thing. Even you can date this right back to if you're Christian, then you'll know in the Bible, for example, Jesus actually only picked the people who were working. He didn't pick the people like doing nothing. He didn't. He interrupted people to be like, hey, you're cool. I want to talk to you. And life is kind of like that as well. And we see it in various religions all over the world. It's not just Christianity. It's tons of them. But people get picked, and it plays out through our experience as well. Kristen's saying it makes so much sense. Like if you're on autopilot in your life, you won't be open for when something else comes. Yeah, you want to have your hands free. You want to have your hands free so that you can turn around and say, pick me, I'm available. I have been in rehearsal. My hands are dirty. I'm covered in soot. I am ready to go. I am ready to go. You want to have that show up in your experience. You want to be ready for that. And we have to start to understand that oftentimes, our life is stagnant because we have some attention deficit. And I don't mean ADD. I don't mean the actual, attention deficit disorder. Sometimes we have just attention deficit. And it comes with just a lack of focus into one thing for the time period of rehearsal that we have to have focus there. There is a process to this stuff. There's a process. And the longer that we are, if we are in rehearsal every day, if we are attending practice, even when we don't feel like it, because like there are times where it's like I don't feel like lighting stuff on fire and doing the same thing for 5 hours. But at the end of the day, when when the chips are down and stuff lines up and somebody says, damn, like, what you're doing is really, really cool. It's funny because my partner and I were kind of like that, where that's actually part of how we actually met was the fact that he saw some of my fire performances. And he's a musician, he's an actor and a musician, and he ended up he just saw a myriad of things that we could be creating together, and now we do all the time. But he saw that vision. He saw all these potentials. But had I not been doing that, I think we'd still have the relationship, but it wouldn't be near as expansive and creative as it would be, had that not been the case. So we've got to get that. We've got to get that as a society, is that when we don't have that focus, if we've got attention deficit on whatever it is that we're going for, or we think we're going for, and we're not willing to dig into the process, then you end up quitting 5 minutes before the miracle. You could be right on the edge. You could be right on the edge of experiencing this new thing, and then find out, bam, you've quit, just before that right person sees what you're doing, or, reads what you're writing, or, sees your performance, or, whatever it is. You just don't know. So we got to be careful. We can't quit 5 minutes before the miracle. This is a process, and it's all about clarity. It's all about clarity. So usually, when I see, when I see people who are calling the psychic hotlines, and they're calling the fortune tellers and trying to figure out, what is my clarity? What am I doing? What am I, oh my God, my life is so stuck, or, oh my God, I don't know what to do, and I'm so sick and tired of my experience. We have to be able to look at their dialogue. Let's look at their dialogue. I am. How do you finish that sentence? I am. Are you saying, I am confused, I am tired, I am, I am sick of this, I am blah, blah, blah. I am is the creative force in the universe, and whatever we attach to it, we will become. And usually, you listen to the people who phone into these hotlines, their I ams are all over the place. There's no clarity, and they're looking for clarity with someone else, which, as I say, it just doesn't work. If you've got no self-esteem and you're looking for crowd esteem, it's not going to play out well. It just won't. And the damn thing is when here's the catch as well. If you're looking for people's validation is fickle. It's really fickle. And I'll tell you this straight up from being in entertainment for 20 years. The 20 years of whether or not people, will applaud for you or not. People have an attention span of about 30 seconds. It's about 30 seconds. In website terms, because I do my own web design and stuff like that. In website terms, you've got about 10 seconds of people on your web page, on the initial page, to be able to figure out if what they want is on your page. So if you've got a page, for example, that's like, if they can't look at your page and in 10 seconds be like, okay, this is who you are, this is what this is what you do, this is what you're offering. If they can't look, and within 10 seconds on that first page, if they can't figure that out, they're going to leave. Like, it's just the psychology of it. And people are kind of like that, it's like if as soon as you lose their attention, as soon as you lose people's attention, it's gone. So if you're relying on that attention, you're going to be highly disappointed. People are they're pleasure seekers, right? Like if they don't get what they want when they want it, like right now, they just they just turn around. When I was doing, way back in the day when I was still doing street shows and stuff like that, you learn that really quickly, because you're out on if any of you guys who have ever been to a Fringe festival or Buskers festival or anything like that, you've got these performers that are out on what they call the pitch, which is like your performing space on the road or whatever. And you've got to figure out how to get all of these people around you to stop and stay with you for 45 minutes, and actually pay you for it. And so it seems really, it seems like something that would be super simple to be able to go out. Oh, of course everybody's going to want to watch you. No, they don't. They don't want to watch you. They want to go about their day. They want to know what you have that they are going to get from you in order to stand there for 45 minutes and then pay you money for it. It's a crazy lifestyle. I didn't do it for very long because it drove me nuts, but it's one of those things where we have to realize that people's attention is really, really fickle. And when somebody else comes along with that better act or better performance or, is cheaper or whatever it is, then bam, their attention's going to be somewhere else. Or if you say something or do something that they are offended by or whatever, their attention's going to be elsewhere. So we have to understand is if we are relying on that, then, it's going to fluctuate. It's going to fluctuate. People just aren't going to like you all the time. And it's going to move around. So our I ams, who we are, how we identify with ourselves, is really, really crucial to moving into the world and getting our own clarity about the vision that we have for our experience. And if it's based off of the attention of others, let me tell you right now, you're not going to be at it for very long, because there's going to be somebody in your experience, whether it be family or friends, or usually it's the people closest to you, unfortunately, are going to turn around and tell you you're crazy as hell, and they're going to do whatever they're going to do. But when you've got the clarity, when you've got the center, it's not the same. Dawn is saying there's a quote which goes something like, opportunity dances with those who are on the dance floor. That's it, Dawn, that's it. It absolutely, opportunity it picks the people that are within its own vibration. So opportunity has its own vibration, right? It's got its own experience. It's got its own way of being in the world. It's got its own way of seeing things. It's an energy, and opportunity really will pick the people that are working. It really does. It's like, man, they see you, and then bam, it moves you into the new thing. Sally says, I believe if you want your life to change, you have to make changes in your life. You have to. And the crazy thing is, here's the thing about that. The amount of momentum that you've got going. So if you've got a crap load of momentum going in the wrong direction, the amount of change that you have to make is going to have to equal the momentum that's going in that direction. So the bigger the change, the bigger the issue that you've got, the harder the change you have to push on. So if you've got, a pendulum that's like swinging pretty hard this way, you're going to have something that's pretty solid to push that pendulum in that other direction. And this is the exact same thing, is where if you've got a bunch of momentum that's swinging in this direction, you're going to have to make some major changes, and can't be afraid to make those major damn changes in order to get that pendulum going in the other direction. And it's usually drastic. Our experience of our dreams and our reality, and in order to get to that experience, it can be really, really difficult in terms of the amount of movement we have to make outside of our comfort zone. It's not, your dream is not in your comfort zone. It is not. I'll tell you straight up, it's not. It's not in the comfort zone, which sucks. But it isn't. It's not there. It's the healing, the dream, the vision, all of that, it's outside the comfort zone every single time. Every single time, I can promise you. If you're waiting for it to be comfortable, you're not going to get it. It won't be. It just won't be. It always takes that reach and that further change. And we have to understand. We've got to ask ourselves, remember, what are our I ams? Is the game that we're playing useful to us? Is it serving us? Is it serving what we want? And are you in the arena so that you can get picked? Are you in the arena? Those are the three big questions. Because as I say, if you can identify that, if you can identify those three things, you're gonna be sailing. You're gonna be sailing. It's really cool, and I can honestly say it is, for me, tried, tested, and true. I'm not just saying this for the sake of saying it. It really is true. And there's been stuff that I've had to do or tackle or figure out, in my experience to get where I am and to get what I'm doing. And yeah, none of it is in the comfort zone. Sometimes it's you have to be ready to pick up and go and do something new within 24 hours. It was funny actually when I was when I first got the call for haunted hospitals, for instance. This was kind of a funny story. My amazing producer, he is just fantastic. We had talked on the phone for probably, I don't know, about an hour. And he was like, oh my God, I've been looking for someone like you who is versed in what they're saying, who's Canadian, because everybody else on the show is American. And he's like, oh my God, I've been looking for you. He found my website, and so I sent him in a test video and stuff like that, because he's like, show me how you discuss topics. So I sent him in a little video, and he said, okay, that's cool. I'll get back to you. I have to go and talk to the other producers. So I said, that's awesome. So when he came back on that, he said, we love you. You're great. We really want you on the show, but there's a catch. And I said, okay, well, what's the catch? And he said, you've got to be here in about 2 days. We're filming now. Can you pack up, and do you have a passport? Do you have blah, blah, blah? Can you be here in 2 days? And immediately I was just like, absolutely. Yep. 100%. Packed up my stuff. Within 2 days, bam, I was on the plane to Toronto and we were shooting, and I was getting downloads of cases, and whatnot. And I was running through, it was crazy. It was crazy, but it's, you got to be prepared. Put your hand up, take the opportunity, and just bam, go with it. And it might be that you're on a plane in 48 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever. So I hope this was helpful, you guys. Is it Thursday? I think it's a Thursday today. I have no idea what day it is. No clue anymore. I don't know let's see. Oh, it is Thursday. Look at that. But yeah, so anyway, answer those questions for yourself, and I promise you will have some clarity without calling a fortune teller. I promise you will have clarity without spending any money. There we go. Anyway, let's do some affirmations, everybody, before we go. Everyone take a breath. I'm a channel of peace and well-being, and my need for peace is abundantly met. I unconditionally accept, love, and appreciate myself and who I am. I recognize and am grateful for the abundance that is constantly flowing into my life, which I can choose to allow or not. I feel with every breath a sense of peace and love. I help others by maintaining and tending to my connection with Source as much as possible. This well-being is accessible to me, even in a sea of uncertainty. And at this moment, all is well. I am able to liberate myself from my past and live with peace and live with peace and serenity. I see and appreciate all the beauty and abundance of the life around me. I am able to embrace love while letting go of fear. And I find peace with the soothing silence of my inner being. And everybody take a breath. Dawn is saying, I make everything interesting. Love your eloquence and articulation. Thank you for enlightening us. Thank you so much, Dawn. I so appreciate that. I so appreciate you guys every day, every morning. So I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Fridays, spiritual health care. Have a really great day, everybody. And this, of course, will be uploaded to EntitySeeker.ca as well as YouTube.com/EntitySeeker. All of it is there on the playlist. So, yeah, take a look. And Kirsten is saying, grabbed a book that made me think I should read again, and I found a sticker I was looking for last night. I thought it was lost forever. That's how this stuff works, man. This is how it works. It's like you open the door. You just got to get the door open a crack, and then bam. Everything starts flooding and lining up and appearing, and stuff you think is dead in the water suddenly resurfaces again. It's interesting. It's interesting how opportunity works. Anyway, guys, have a great day. I will see you tomorrow morning. Bye, y'all.